He's about soon to get kicked out of the military for basically not being able to support himself and financial problems and stuff like that.
Right, because he's
So
susceptible
what
to
if,
being blackmailed and things like that. I got it, sir.
yeah. So what if I,
Again,
like, what if I run into something like that and then I get kicked out and then I
yes, sir.
can't pay nothing?
The state is requesting a final order if at all possible. The evidence will show that Mr. Pepe is paid ahead. Excuse me, Mr. Bun-Peapealalo is paid ahead pretty significantly. So I'll be asking the court to make that finding. I think the parties actually do agree as far as the finance. Well, I believe they agree on the child support, a guideline amount of 862. As the court can see, Mr. Pepe is active duty, and so I believe 2,640 is his base, and then 1,563 using Cavazos as the BAH, and then I think there's some disagreement on the source of the coverage. I think Mr. Bun-Peapealalo's request is for the court to order that he carry TRICARE. I believe that the portion for the two children on the dental anyway would be $22.48. So the state is joining in that particular request. I believe that Mr. Bun-Peapealalo may need some assistance from the court in getting Social Security information in order to enroll them. But I'll let him tell the court more about that. And then the biggest issue, Your Honor, is going to be the visitation on the child that we're adding. I believe Mr. Mr. Bun-Peapealalo is requesting standard. I believe Miss Dickerson is requesting supervised. I think she's going to testify to some safety concerns. I'm not in dispute that Mr. Bun-Peapealalo is from Killeen. His parents are still here, stationed in Tennessee right now, but he travels to see the child or the children, excuse me. And I think he's he's wanting to be unsupervised when he has the children. I think there's some particular concern on Miss Dickerson's part with the paternal grandparents' home. So I'll let her tell the court about that. So I told the court this was a full contest. I think this is mostly a possession and access contest. And then we'll also be asking the court for appropriate rulings on non-disclosure. The court did not previously order non-disclosure.
yeah, you're right, because I noticed all the information in the original order was there. So, all right, here's the deal, Ms. Dickerson. It's kind of unusual, but most of the things we're asked that are being asked for today will probably, the burden of proof will more than likely fall on you. If this was a brand new clean case with a younger child, I would all that data would come into effect. But right now, the father's already a joint managed conservator of the older child. He already has standard possession order. There's no modification seeking me to change that. So, I can't split babies in half. I guess technically I can do that as far as visitation is concerned, but I now need a legal reason why not to give him the same visitation and possession and access to the younger child that he has with the older child. He's dad. He already has this. And unless there's some showing about somehow the child will be harmful, be harmed if dad has the visitation and not with not the fact that there's a third party out there that you're worried about. The world, everybody but you two are third parties. I'm technically a third party to you two, to both of you, and that's your job to protect your children from third parties. Okay, if he's not the party that they need protecting from, then again, when the children with you, you've got to protect them. When they're with him, he's got to protect them. And if you fall off that, if you fall off that cliff, then all kinds of bad things happen. Criminal, CPS, and God help you have to pay for all those lawyers. But anyway, so ma'am, again, the burden is probably going to fall on you why I should do something different for one child than the other. And that's just the way it has to be, because there's nothing I can do right now. There's nothing in these pleadings that will allow me to change that as far as the older child is concerned. And I got a roadmap here, and I'm supposed to follow that roadmap. And like I tell it in my morning statements, you're both parents. Y'all both get to run your lives as you see fit, but you always have to do everything for the kids that's always in their best interest, or the best as you can, because let's face it, kids will do everything in their power to make sure you don't do everything in their best interest. Okay, it's a never-ending battle. But anyway, let me get some testimony. Let's find out what's going on here, and we'll see what we can do. But again, I'll let this again. This is, like I say, kind of unusual when we have these added child case. The old order controls to a certain extent. Okay. Anyway, I'll ask both of you at this time to raise your right hands, and I'll get you sworn in. You both solemnly swear or affirm we're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you.
No.
All right, you're both officially under oath, and I'll go ahead and allow the state to call you as individual witnesses. You can put your hand down. At the end of the hearing, if anything you think I need to know didn't come out because the state didn't ask you, because right now you're only supposed to answer the questions as asked and nothing further. But if there's anything you think I need to know that didn't come out, you're both your own legal reps, and at that time you'll be able to make a closing statement, a closing argument, or a closing testimony in the narrative to us, so long as it's relevant to what we're doing here today. So again, I just hit you with some legal terminology again, but that's we're in the court and that's the way it works. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let the state call you as witnesses, and we'll try to figure this one out. So you may proceed at this time, Mr. Diamond. And again, sir, you can put your hand down. Thank you. All right, you may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call Miss Dickerson. If I can get you to unmute Miss Dickerson, and if you'll state your full name for the record.
Yes, Raven Marie Dickerson.
So let's actually start with the health coverage, and then let's talk about the rest of it. So my understanding, Mr. Bun-Peapealalo would like your daughter to be covered with the TRICARE. Do you have thoughts on that?
I've told him previously I had no problem with that. I know before in the past I've actually reached out to him in regards to wondering how we're going to go about getting them TRICARE. I did that. I reached out as soon as I found out he was enlisted in the Army. And so they were already on Medicaid. And so that's when I was asking him, okay, does that mean that they're going to switch over to TRICARE whenever that becomes available to you? And then he said yes. But we never really had any more conversation about it after that until recently. I want to say a couple months ago, he had came down for leave and he was trying to get all that taken care of. But I just had some reservations because some of the questions I was asking him, he was kind of going around them. And so obviously with the girl's social and everything, yes, he's the father, and like I have no problem giving that information over to them because I have before in the past. But some stuff just wasn't making sense how he was saying it to me. So I was just wanting to be there in person so I could hear it from whoever it is that he was talking to or the office that he was going to. I was wanting to be there as well before I just handed over their stuff, which legally, yes, he's allowed to have that. And again, I had no issue giving that over to him, but some of the stuff just wasn't adding up what he was saying. So I just wanted to be cautious because I've had some stuff pop up in the past where the girl's stuff, the credit was being flagged for things and I was confused, and I just wanted to make sure that it was in the best interest of them.
All right, ma'am. The norm is I usually give a date certain why he's got to when I order TRICARE, he's got to have a date certain that he has to taken care of. If you want to wait till he comes back down there and y'all can both go out and post together, get that taken care of, I'll make that part of the court order too. Because identity theft is crazy that they can act, that somehow a 3-year-old should be able to get a gold card. Okay, so yeah, by fraud. So yeah, but anyway, but I'll deal with that appropriately when we come to the end of the hearing, ma'am. But we'll hear how Dad wants to try to handle it, and we'll meet it. We'll try to meet in the middle and get that taken care of. Next question, Mr. Diamond.
Okay. Your Honor, may I ask maybe one or two more questions? Because it sounds like what she's saying is that she doesn't trust him to not protect that Social Security number. I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't already have it, but because she told me, she said she already given it to him. So it sounds like he might already have it, but we'll find that out from him in a moment also. Okay, thank you. But go ahead and ask your next question. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so let's talk about well, I think I told the court I think 862, the new child support amount, that's acceptable to you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the big thing, which is, as I understand it, is the visitation. Correct that you would like the visitation to be supervised?
Yes, sir. I would love that if that's possible.
Okay. Well, I mean, I should have that's really what you're insisting on. That maybe be a better way of putting it. Okay. All right. Are the safety concerns about Mr. Bun-Pealalalo or about other people?
No, so it's not against him. I trust him fully with our girls, and I've told him this before. I've always left that door open, but my major concern when it comes, because I know when he does come back here, when he visits and stuff, he does stay with his parents because he does not have a place here other than just staying with them. And we've had a lot of issues in the past concerning the safety over there at his parents' house, that I brought up to his attention, and I just have told him that, if the girls are going to be over there, especially under your care, like make sure you are there for one, because there's just been a lot of slip ups and things that have happened, which I understand, like things happen anywhere.
All right, ma'am. Okay, I want to slow you down here a little bit, ma'am.
Yes.
Is there a registered sex offender or someone that's on some type of probation over that household?
No, not that I know of. I don't think that there is.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll let the state elaborate on why you feel the way you do, but I'll let the state ask that question. I just want to make sure that that wasn't something that was there, and I could just go jump straight to the chase. All right, thank you.
Oh, yes, no, sir.
But I will get to it, Your Honor. So my understanding, Ms. Dickerson, that I understand that you understand. So correct me if necessary. That a child drowned there. That's the deal?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
When did that happen?
Oh gosh, was that two or 3 years ago? He might have a better idea of when that exactly was. It was a couple years ago though.
Okay. Do you know anything about the circumstances?
I just know that
Okay,
my kids were. Oh, yes, sir.
okay, ma'am. Unless he told you or you saw it, you can't testify to it.
Okay, no, yes, sir. I wasn't there at all, but I'm just going off of what he told me, and we
Okay,
went
you can testify to
to
what
the
you can
hospital
testify to
together.
what he said, ma'am. That's not a problem. You may proceed.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Um, so yeah, so I get a call from him. My kids were under the watch of him over at his parents' house, and I get a call from him that they're taking I forget her name. I think it's Miliana, to the hospital because she had drowned. She had gotten out of the eyes of the grandparents and went into the backyard. Nobody's seen her, and she was in the pool face flat for a while. And so they were rushing her to the emergency room. So the first thing I do is I ask, well, where is Peyton and Jordan? Like, are they okay? Like, what's going on? I go over to his house, pick him up. We go and follow the ambulance over to the Temple hospital, and we are waiting there until we find out what's going on with the youngest one that drowned. Um, it's not that I don't trust him. There's been a lot of instances where when the girls are over there at his place, he's either not there or not fully attentively watching them. Because there have been moments too where I ask him, I say, hey, can I talk to the girls? I just want to tell them good night, especially when it was his weekend with them. And come to find out he wasn't even there with them. He would leave his siblings or minors and stuff to watch my kids or our kids. And I just felt like that was just like a safety like concern in my brain. Like I don't know, maybe it's just the mom brain thinking and just like the overprotectiveness coming in. But I wanted to say all this, that it's not that I don't trust him, and it's not that I think he's going to do something harmful to our kids. I've never had that thought cross my mind, but I just know that he allows a lot of other stuff kind of cloud his judgment, whether that be his family members or just things in general that come up, and he tends to put our kids on the back burner, and not quite focus on them the way that they're supposed to be focused
Okay,
on.
all right. Let's talk more about the paternal grandparents of your children.
Okay, yes, sir.
Actually, let's talk about their house first. Do they have they have some kind of a fence around their swimming pool?
They didn't at the time. I do not know about now because, like I said, that was a couple years ago. So I'm sure maybe they have gotten that fixed by now, considering what happened. That would be something you may have to ask him because I haven't been over there in a while.
Okay. I mean, are there mental health issues? Are there substance issues? Or they're just
That I have.
they're so old that they can't pay attention? I mean,
No, I don't think it's that they're old or anything like that. And I honestly don't even think there's substance abuse going on. Just there's always been a lot of people at the house. And so, and even, Demani would tell me himself that they don't quite have the time to deal with more children, is how he put it to me. Because I've even when he was at work and I'd have to work, I'd say, hey, I don't have anybody to watch the girls. Do you think your parents could watch them for me? And he would say, well, they don't have, quite frankly, have the time to deal with more kids at this moment. And so I think more so after him telling me that, and then just this incident's happening, I'm just like, okay, is it coming more from a point of they're just not truly watching the kids when they're over there, and they're maybe doing other stuff that they're putting, you know, at the top of the list, and having their kids watch our kids. So that just becomes like, that's just in my brain, and I'm just worried about that, because for me it's like, well, we birthed these kids, and so if I'm not watching them, I would love for you to watch them, especially like when it's, you know, just our responsibilities. But
Okay, so I mean, it sounds like sort of best case, you would say that the grandparents are inattentive. Are there other family, are there other family members of his that you have concerns about? It
honestly,
sounds
no,
like it
it would,
sound,
no, sir, it would just be the grandparents themselves. I mean, I know a handful of times his brother and sister have watched them, but it was nothing more of maybe 15, 20 minutes from what he would tell me. And then he said they'd be under the care of his mom and dad after that. So if it's not him.
All right, ma'am, how old are the siblings? Do you know?
His siblings?
Yeah, his siblings, the father.
So he has an older sister. I'm not quite sure how old she is. I want to say she in her 30s, like
She's
maybe
older than him,
early
so yeah,
30s.
okay. I'm just trying to get but
I know that, yes, sir. So there's one
any
that,
teenagers still in that household, that sort of thing.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Any of the siblings still under 18?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
I
Thank
think
you.
they're all, yeah, yes, sir.
They're all adults. Got it. Thank you. All right, you may proceed with your next question, Mr. Diamond.
I mean, I could keep digging on this, but my sense is the court has heard what the court wants to hear. So
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. I'll come back and ask for something more specific after I hear from Dad. Okay, thank you.
yeah, yes, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness then, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. I'll be back in just a moment. But I'm going to let the state call their next witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Mr. Bun-Peapealalo. Will you state your full name, sir?
Demani James Bun-Peapealalo.
Right. And what do you do for a living, Mr. Bun-Peapealalo?
Active duty infantryman in the Army.
All right, and thank you for your service. When did you enlist?
May 5th, 2023.
Okay. And then, so do I have your base pay correct of $2,640 a month?
If you're going off of BAH of like Fort Hood, which is Fort Cavazos, it's like it kind of varies somewhere in there.
Well,
I know every base their BAH.
Are you talking about your base pay, not your BAH, sir?
Oh, well, yeah.
What's your rank?
I'm a private E3.
E3, 2 years?
Yes, sir. Or yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
all right. And then my understanding is that you would like to use the TRICARE that's provided for you as a result of your service. Is that correct?
Yes, I'd like to put my kids on TRICARE.
Okay. And what are the concerns that you have about being able to enroll them?
Well, when I first enrolled in, I went to like basic and everything processing. I had a picture. The civilians that were working there, they entered it in, all that. Like I was able to get my son and stuff like that, but my two girls, like it just wasn't happening because it was a picture instead of a hard copy. So that's why when I went from basic, I came here to Fort Campbell. I went to Europe and I was gone for like 6 to 8 months. I came back and she was right. I did come back to visit my kids. I wanted to get a hard copy because they said, oh, Fort Campbell need a hard copy because my kids are on the court order. I needed all this stuff for them to get on the TRICARE. So okay, I did it, and I just
And by hard copy, sir, you mean the birth certificate?
No, Your Honor, I got a birth certificate. I needed a social. The civilians that work in Deers and stuff like that, they said that I needed a hard copy of a social, not a picture.
Oh, okay, that's kind of new, but go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, it kind of messed me up because when I showed them like a picture copy that I had, they like one civilian said it was okay, and then I finally come over here, they were like, no, it's not okay. You need a hard copy. So I was like, okay.
But it's usually only one social security card, so that's and each because you don't want those things floating around. So they actually want the social security card itself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, hey, the judge, you talked to a guy who had tri-care to his last year of law school, so yeah, I know the rules have changed since then, but still, all right,
Yeah,
thank
because
you.
even when I came down to clean Texas, like Fort Cavazos, like they
Right,
said the same exact thing. I need a hard copy. So I was like, okay.
all right,
So
all right,
what
thank you.
about? Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
So what about Mr. Bun-Peapealalo? It sounds like what she's requesting is rather than hand you over the Social Security card, it sounds like she's wanting to go with you on post, go communicate with whoever you need to communicate with Deers, present the card to them, and then get the card back. Do you have any objection to that?
I mean, her mom substitute to do that for her because she was in school, I believe, at the time. And then when they told me like the way they do it in Fort Cavazos, you had to set an appointment, and I didn't have the time to like sit there because I was on the time crunch to come back up here to Kentucky.
I'm sorry, you have to set the appointment to bring a civilian on the post?
No, not bring a civilian on post, like because you mentioned like to bring the hard copy. Her mom subbed for her to help me do that. Like if she like because in Deers like all around you can just insert it anywhere instead of just me bringing it all the way up. So I suggested I just get my own copy and then I can just do it myself. But I was denied that.
I'm sorry, meaning you go to the Social Security office and just and request and pay for whatever the fee is to get a copy of the card, or you want to borrow her card?
I mean, at first it was just to borrow it when I went down to Fort Cavazos, but like because of the time crunch, I was just like, I'll just get my own copy. I'll come up to Kentucky, put them through, no problem. I don't have to like sit like I forgot what the paperwork is called, like the numbers were called, but it's like something basically I say that she can do it without me having to do it. Basically, I forgot what the paperwork was called though.
It's your authorization for mom to do it or somebody else to do it in her stead or what?
For the my kid's mom.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, yeah. So you can authorize her to go on post and take care of it there too, can't you?
Yeah, that's what the one of the civilians that was working there, he had told me I could do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't me personally, I didn't know that from anything. I just wanted to just like,
Right.
me being the dad, I can have a copy of birth certificate social. So that's what I was just gonna do. Go on my way and just like not make it too complicated.
Yes, sir. Understood. All right, then. You may proceed with the next question, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, so let's move on to the visitation. I take it you're not in agreement with supervised visitation?
No, I'm not in agreement to that because like I can lead this on into like about my youngest sister, what happened
Okay,
to her.
okay, sir. You're not in agreement. It's good enough for me for right now. Again, the burden of proof falls on mom for me not to do this.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to
Yes,
give
Your
you
Honor.
a lot of reasoning, but I'll let the state ask general questions if they want to get something a little bit more specific. That way, we don't have to go through your family's life history like that. So you may proceed with the next question, Mr. Diamond.
All right, so since this incident happened, have your folks done anything to put a fence around the pool or take some sort of other measures to guard against this happening again?
Yes, sir. They like as soon as it happened, like my dad, he was always at the hospital with my little sister, and then like probably like few days, maybe a week, like he ordered parts, and then he had him and his buddy. They just build a fence because it's like an outdoor porch and it's a big one, and they just build a whole fence all around to where it's like it's child locked. There's like three locks on it, I believe.
Okay, good enough, sir. Thank you.
And I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't realize I was a sibling.
Oh no, she didn't pass. She's up and like running around right now. She just like brief moment she did drown. She was like 1 year old. She like wandered off and then she just got outside, and then she like drowned for a brief moment, but she's alive though.
Okay.
Okay.
Was there anything particular to that child, like autism or something like that?
Well, she's our adopted sister, so like we like my dad has more of the rundown of like why we adopted her. Like,
I guess what I'm asking is there something particular about that child to where she'd be more prone to wander off than
oh oh
the
oh
average
oh oh
child?
oh no, she just just doing her exploring because she just learned to walk, everything doing. She just try to be like a grown kid, I guess you would say it.
Okay. Um, is there something that we ought to know about your parents' ability to watch over children? And I don't mean any disrespect in saying that,
No,
but it's been brought up, so I think I have to ask it.
oh, no, you're good, sir. There's nothing wrong with my parents watching children. It's just over the years, like my parents, they're very old. Like they're like, well, like mid age, like 40s, 50s, and they take care of my,
Mr. Bay,
but
Mr. Bun, I'm sorry, BP. Until that point, sir, the fact that you with the wrong airborne division, I was gonna let that slide, but you damn just said somebody who's 20 years younger than me is old, okay? So we're not gonna go with that one. Yeah, I've been into Clarksville, Tennessee before,
yeah,
okay? All
yeah,
right.
I'm in the wrong airborne. I try to go to 82nd.
Well, 101 and a pinch of Screaming Eagles will work, okay? No problem. At least y'all still have your fort named, right? Okay, we're what, Fort Freedom now? Yeah, right. So yeah. But anyway, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. I'll let the state proceed. And I think I got something for this one, but I'll let the state proceed along the issue dealing with your visitation Mr. Diamond, can you find out when the next time Dad's coming down? Will be down here on leave or whatever. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. How about that, Mr. Bun-Peapealalo? When are you set to come back to Texas?
Right now, I don't have a set right now because right now we have I have a thing going on for Georgia. Like me and my company, we're going on to Georgia to test out our new equipment and weapons, and then from what I hear, that some of us from the 101st were already like deployed, well, quote unquote, deployed to the border at the moment. They already took like some of our MPs, and like we're on the like radar of going. Like our BC says that we could be going, we can't be going, but I'm not sure. I can't give you like an actual date and time.
I understand. So what I'm hearing is you can't commit until you have more certainty about what your next assignment's going to be.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Diamond?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
All right, anything on redirect to Ms. Dickerson?
I can't
No,
think of
Your
anything.
Honor.
Okay, now I was asking him. I was
Oh,
going to
I'm
ask
sorry.
I was going to ask a couple other questions. Uh, no, I really okay. Judge forgot that quick. All right, ma'am. I'm looking at obviously again. I said earlier the burden of proof falls on you. Why the court should do that? And right now, your original testimony, yeah, you got no problem with Dad. You're just a little bit worried about his environment. But again, ma'am, that's all parents, and believe me, you ever see three large black men running across a parking lot in Arlington because a 1.5-year-old got away from him and started getting a little speed up, leaning forward? Yeah, their mother was laughing their head off, so she thought it was funny. But I've had to chase down a 1.5-year-old, and they get moving fast. All right, so it is what it is. But anyway, ma'am, again, I got a name. I'm looking at having to name you both joint managing conservatives, giving you the right to decide domicile. He's in the military, so I usually make that right unrestricted, so you can live where you need to live. But I do need he's already had standard visitation with the older child. There's no legal reason I can see not to give him that. But again, it falls upon each of you to take care of your business when you're taking care of your kids. We're none of us are 100% perfect when it comes to that, and hopefully. Nothing will ever happen on a parent's watch. It's sad when it does, but right now everything I've heard I got to go with it. And as far as setting up the package of getting they're way too young for ID cards, so the judge is thinking like, okay, I get my ID card and do this and do that. But right now we may have to facilitate him getting everything that's necessary. So like I said, you need to get them on TRICARE. Like I said, I had a TRICARE through 9 years of college. So yeah. So it'll work, and it worked perfectly for that time. Well, I'm sorry, 7.5 years of college. But I need to set that up. I don't mind having you help him out, but again, everybody's aware of what we need to do. And sorry, mom has some concerns about that information getting out. So if you get the Social Security cards, keep them under your version of lock and key, and make sure that they're somewhere that no one else can get to them. You're in the military, so there's a lot of times you're not even home, or not even in the barracks, or things like that. So again, ma'am, he's entitled to have those. He may have to have the physical copies. The Army now doesn't trust fake Social Security cards, and so that's the circumstance. So I'm looking at having y'all facilitate that. But ma'am, if push comes to shove, you gotta give them a hard copy. You gotta give them a hard copy. But sir, you don't make duplicates and send. And as soon as you get what you need to do with those, then you send mom the hard copies back. Okay, that's what I'm looking at having done on that. So at this time, Mr. Diamond, I'll go ahead and ask you to. Is there anything else you need to ask either party? Because again, I'm looking at joint managed conservative. Mom has the right to sit down. So guidelines support finding a judgment of what the child support on the date that the state is requesting the day of judgment. I understand dad's in future pay. And what date is the state requesting us to start the new child support amount?
Oh gosh, I forgot to even specify that. I'll just defer to the court on that if I may, Your Honor.
Okay. What's the future pay look like?
It's pretty good, Your Honor. He was paid ahead.
As
We're going to confirm this as of yesterday. He's paid ahead $1,076.01.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's paid. I think we had previously ordered medical support, so that'll stop. But he was paid. He's paid ahead $9.56 on the child support and $120 on the medical support. I hate to have to ask for something like this, Your Honor.
This is service.
So I'm sorry, Your Honor. My request would be to start this the beginning of next month.
Okay.
Frankly, it's not a great reason, Your Honor, but it's going to mess our books up if we go back a whole lot on this.
All right, and again, I'm not seeing dad's service date, so I got no problem starting the new child support amount the first day of March. Obviously saying he's in future pay, what the judgment is as of the 31st day of January. And obviously there's no repayment on that. Waiving court costs due to military service, ordering dad to put the children on TRICARE. I usually used to make it 30 days, but because of his testimony and the border situation and everything else, I'll go ahead and have order that be taken care of within 60 days of the court signing the paperwork, sir. But it's up to you to get that, and moms to facilitate you getting everything you need as far as copies to make sure you get the kids on TRICARE and TRICARE dental. I think dental is not even I think it's a separate insurance policy, but
yeah, it's separate.
Yeah, get that set up like that, and go ahead and setting everything up as going forward, giving you standard visitation as with the older child. I normally do y'all do FaceTime visits as far as the kids are concerned?
If I'm not in the field or like I'm
okay, so, and it sounds like y'all work well enough together that doesn't seem to be a problem. Believe me, I get people in there every day.
I think the only thing I was a little unsure with is because I'm not quite sure how all this stuff works with the military stuff. So after we get the TRICARE and stuff situated, is there anything I need to do on my part? Am I supposed to reach out to him and do something, or
you'll get a copy of the well, back in the days we just used my ID card, but nowadays I understand they got their own cards and they got everything else that you use. So you'll do that, and you're both responsible for 50-50 of uninsured medical, and you're responsible for if you get a bill and pay it, or get a bill, you got so many days. I think it's 10 the days to get him a copy of that, and that way he knows, and then he's got so long to pay it. So, and same with you. And it's all in the order though, man. But that's a standard order. It would be whether it's TRICARE or regular health insurance. It's all in that portion.
Okay.
So any other questions, ma'am?
No, Your Honor, that was it.
All right, then. Well, I'll go ahead and let the state, I'll go ahead and that's what I'm going to grant at this point. Good luck, sir, on any type of deployment. Yeah, my
I'm
dad
sorry,
was always
begging your
between,
pardon, Your Honor.
yeah.
Forgive the interruption, sir. Your Honor, the state would actually request if we could confirm the arrears as of yesterday's date, February 12th, 2025, financial, when there's a special judgment like that, that's usually what they ask me to do.
Okay, well, they used to not want me to ever use those dates, and now in the last year they want to go back to the date before, so that's not a problem. I'll
Thank you, Your
grant
Honor.
the as of that date, and that way it makes their math work and their accounting system works. So, is there anything else then, sir?
Not from this. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Now, I'll start with you, Mr. Dom. Anything else, sir?
Not from me, Your Honor.
All right, then I'll go to you. I'm just gonna go with BP, British Petroleum, on you there, sir. Anything else, sir?
I just got a few questions because I'm just curious.
Okay, shoot, sir. Go right ahead.
Um, so I want I forgot what the lady's name I was talking to before, but I'm curious. So why is child support so high? For one.
Well, okay, well, number one, because the
Okay.
state legislature sets the guideline amount, and again, if you made $9,000 a month and you had two kids before this court, your child support today would be 1,800. I mean, 1,000. I'm sorry, 2,000 and some change. 1,000 if you only had one. Legislature sets the percentages, sir. I don't, and we just multiply. It's a math formula. Whatever the percentage is, time your net income. And your net income is your gross minus Social Security, Medicare, and the income tax the IRS is going to keep it not send back to you. And since you're a citizen of the state of Texas, there's no income tax in Texas for Texas. So yeah, that's just the way it sets up, sir.
Okay.
Next question.
And what was that? Dang, it just blew up. When you told me all that stuff.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Like if I was like paying, like if I like paid money, because the lady told me, like if I given money from like since her birth, or if I like bought things of my own, and I said
Okay. I'll let you stop, sir. That is considered retroactive child support. The court's not ordering any back child support for this child. I'm starting the child support brand new March 1. And
I know.
If I did back child support, and you may have heard other people today, the court ordered retroactive child support 3-4 years back. That's not your case. You already had a court order for child support, so we're going forward on your case, and so there's no need to give any type of credit for what you've done in the past, because the credit would only go against the amount that you would had to pay in the past if you had to pay that amount. Okay. Next question, sir.
Honestly, this one's not really a question. It's just more of just like
an observation.
Yeah, like, so I pay child support for my son. I pay child support for my kids. No problem. Like, I got no problem paying child support. I'm just gonna put that out there. But it's just more of the curiosity of my living circumstances of like, paying this, paying that, and then because like right now I'm a private, and it's gonna sound weird. Like, I'm a team leader as well, like E3 team leader. It's crazy, but yeah, I have a soldier that's under me, and he I had to counsel him. He's about soon to get kicked out of the military for being I forgot what it's called, but it's like basically not be able to support himself and financial problems and stuff like that.
Right, because he's susceptible to being blackmailed and things like that. I got it, sir.
Yeah. So what if I run into something like that, and then I get kicked out, and then I can't pay nothing?
So long as it's the child support, you're not going to get kicked out for that, because the federal government's the one that came up with these darn guidelines. Again, with the states, they tried to make them pretty much uniform, so every state's pretty close to each other as far as child support is concerned. So if you're paying your child support and you're up to date and you're paid like you're supposed to, and again, you say you got a third child out there, right?
Yeah, my oldest son.
All right. So in this case, we're looking at 2.25%, I mean 22.50% for child support for these two, and you got to pay 16% on the other child. The other child's in Texas. Yeah, it gets to a point, sir. Yeah, a large chunk of your money's coming out. I get it.
Yeah.
When you got two separate households and the money going to two different households, it's going to cost you a little bit extra. But again, so long as you keep those payments up to date and you're following what the court orders say you're supposed to do, then you should be okay.
Yeah, I understand that, like following court order and like being up to date and stuff like that. Because Like, you know, like as you already heard, I've been up to date up to today. But
Yep.
it's just like me, I'm just more of just like worried about myself. So like if I like financially, I get a chapter for being financially unsupportive of myself and stuff like that. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Cause like, yeah, I can get BAH, yeah, but then again, my rent here is like $1,200. So majority of that gets taken. I pay separate electricity, gas,
Yep.
water, all that separate from my rent
See,
and stuff.
all the legislatures took into consideration what they could figure your day-to-day bills are when they came up with these percentages. But again, so like I said, if I had to pay 20% of my money out tomorrow, guess what? The judge may not. I don't play golf anymore, so that's not okay. If I still did, guess what? Judge would not be playing golf every Sunday like he used to. You have to cut back certain items because again, I don't make the laws. I'm just the guy that has to do what I have to do based on what the law is. And all legislatures make child support and set it up this way. So again, sir, I hope you make a lot of rank and make it fast. And good luck to you on that, sir.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, sir?
Nah.
I don't mind talking. I don't mind ever telling anything to a soldier. Again, even 101. So good luck in Fort Benning. And if you're a medic, I would see you down in Fort Sam, like my dad used to, between Bragg's, Benning, and Sam all the time. So that's the way it works when you're in the Army. So, but again, sir, good luck. Be careful because it's still crazy out there.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am. Do you have any other questions?
I'm sorry, you said for me?
Yes, ma'am. I gave him a chance to ask questions. Do you have questions?
No, Your Honor. I don't have any more questions, just a suggestion, if that's okay.
Okay, what do you want me to try to do? I'm not sure. You can make a suggestion, but I'm not sure I can put it in the court order.
No, it's okay. I understand what you're saying. It doesn't have to go in the court order. It's just based off hearing everything that he was saying. I just wanted to put out there, like I've never closed that door off for you to communicate with your children ever. So I just think just take more advantage of that, because the last time you've spoken to them was 4 months ago, and it was very brief, and before that time it was 4 months ago from there, and then 6 months ago. So
right. Well,
the claims were
in a lot of cases where the parents don't get along as well as y'all do, I usually order electronic visits every Sunday.
But I've always kept the door open. Like I've always told him, always call, always text. Like if you just say, hey, I want to talk to the girls, like I'm never going to say no. And he knows that. I've always answered, even when we were on bad terms, because it doesn't deal with us. It's about the girls.
Right.
But just
it's just majority of the time
it.
The field, and I'm active in the field. Being in the infantry, I'm always in the field.
Okay, guys. I'm not sure. I don't point fingers. I don't blame. I don't go there. Okay, because again, ma'am, I know. Especially with soldiers. Again, I never was a soldier, but like I was saying earlier, my dad was a Green Beret up at Fort Bragg for 8 years. So yeah, we didn't know where my dad was half the time back in the '60s. Wink, wink, wink. So yeah, so it happens. So
no, I get it. It's just sometimes it makes me a little sad.
FaceTime those girls because they'll appreciate
yes, please do, because sometimes it makes me sad, because my oldest, especially our oldest, she's 7, and she always asks, she's like, when am I going to talk to daddy, when am I going to see daddy? And I'm like, well, daddy's busy at work. And I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, like, you want to talk to your kids? And he'll be busy. So I mean, I've never held that against him. I've never said, oh, like, you're a horrible father because you don't talk to your kids or anything like that. But just like 2 minutes here and there, because they ask all the time, and they do miss you. But there's so much I can do on my part.
Again, man, that's again, I can set it up, but it's up to y'all to execute it, whatever y'all need to do. Okay.
Right, for sure. Thank you so much.
No problem, ma'am. I'll give everybody a chance to speak. All right. Anything else, Mr. Diamond, at this point that I need to specifically rule on?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Again, folks, good luck, and both of y'all be careful. Like I said, Texas is a dangerous place. Campbell's everywhere is dangerous these days. You just never know. So everybody be careful and take care of the kids, and good luck to both of you. And I'll have the state prepare that order. Mr. Diamond, you need them to hang around to get this to sign off on it, or they're free to go at this point?
If they could be released, Your Honor, I've got one more hearing and that's going to be the last one for the day. It's a double.
Okay,
but I don't.
Okay. All right, good enough. Both of you folks are free to go. I'm going to wrap up my docket with my next hearing. And again, good luck to both of you. Thank you. We're off the record.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.